Alyssa Thomas jumping on Caitlin Clark. What the fuck?
Alyssa Thomas's recent suspension for a violent, racist attack on Caitlin Clark sparked an outburst that is just music terrible. It appears that she couldn't handle the pressure. Instead of accepting accountability, she chose to play the race card in her post-game interview, accusing Clark supporters of bigotry. If you are watching this video, the likelihood that you are a fan of Caitlin Clark is 99%. As a result, you are now a racist as well. Thank you, Alyssa Thomas, for teaching us.
Those guys, they're the racists when really y'all are the racists.
To ignore Clark's astounding numbers and believe that her skin tone was the only reason she should have been suspended at the time is absurd. However, are you aware of the precise words she used to put herself in this situation in music? Why are people turning against her? Does the league have a chance to forgive her? Let's get music right to the point.
We all know what this really is. It's an attack on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark's the wrong face for this league because her fans are so racist.
In the post-game interview, it appears that Alyssa will lose it music.
It was our defense in the third quarter. We knew we needed to come out with a good energy. We knew that they probably weren't happy with their first half, and they threw the first punch, versus the first half we threw the first punch. So
nothing. When a reporter finally ventured to talk about her performance, it was like a switch had been flipped. She immediately launches an attack, accusing Caitlin Clark supporters of racism, rather than confronting the obvious, her total absence during the playoffs. She didn't mention that there weren't many trolls online or that she struggled with hate speech on social media. Instead, she went all out and said that all of Clark's fans are bigots who are destroying the mental health of black athletes.
Of the play.
Caitlin,
Watch this. Look at that. Look at her. Put her fist and her forearm into Caitlin Clark's neck on this play right there, and then uses her fist to get up.
The reporter's facial expression showed that she had been clinging to this side thought, waiting music for the right opportunity to discuss it, expecting that someone would inquire about her awful game so she could entirely change the subject. No one even asked her for details or insisted on evidence.
Instagram and Twitter, these are choices we make. There's an easy way. The league doesn't have to get involved. The Indiana Fever don't have to do something to get you away from social media. Put your phone down. Don't download the apps. Don't engage.
They simply released her. The emphasis should be moved from her failure to this fabricated issue rather than berating her for her terrible performance. Everyone was abruptly thrust into the fan base of Alyssa Thomas versus Caitlin Clark. The speed at which she was able to change the narrative from being the worst kind of goat to being a purported victim of racist supporters is almost remarkable.
Well, now they found another victim, the fans of Indiana. Now, I'm going to side a little bit with these idiots. I'm going to side a little bit with Alyssa Thomas, who said she is the latest WNBA woke gas bag to rip Indiana Fever fan over alleged racism, demanding the franchise and league do something about it. What do you want them to do?
Would you like him to? But you can't help but wonder if this was a spontaneous outburst or a deliberate attempt to divert all of the criticism she was getting. Speaking out, Alyssa Thomas asserted that she had never experienced such maltreatment in her 11-year career until this season. Do you know who she is accusing? Fans of the Indiana Fever have been captivated by Caitlin Clark since the beginning of her incredible rookie season. But who really gives a damn? Honestly. But the real question, music, is whether she actually tried to provide any evidence to support her claims. No, not at all. I have no proof at all. Not a possibility. Caitlin Clark made a sweeping claim that the whole Fever fan base is trying to destroy her mental health since her presence in a league is clearly so harmful. Excellent work. Alyssa, she provided no evidence, incidences, or even an enigmatic tweet that could be trusted.
But who gives a rat's ass? Seriously.
Caitlin Clark is Kunta Clark. She's the actual slave that everybody else is exploiting for their benefit. Angel Reese included at the top of that list. Now Alyssa Thomas jumps in and says, oh, let me get my piece.
But let's talk about the timing. DRO was clearly attempting to change the story after losing a pivotal game. She knew that the media would be ready to ask her why she failed when her team most needed her, or why she allowed herself to be completely outplayed on the biggest stage of the season. Instead of facing the music, she executes the ultimate deception, placing the blame on Caitlin Clark fans and hoping that no one would ever remember that she was even on the court. Yes, in fact, comparable to...
If you got people in a room...
Yeah.
If you got a bunch of dudes in a room and says, let's fuck up the WNBA, we couldn't have came up a master plan what these women have done.
However, this is where it starts to raise serious doubts. Thomas wasn't just criticizing Clark supporters. Additionally, she subtly suggested that Clark was the source of the issue. If Clark's influence is bringing out all of this hostility, she is indirectly portraying Clark as the villain in this entire situation.
Talk about this thuggery, a goon attack, hoodlum activity, straight up hoodlum. I've lost my mind activity. Alyssa Thomas flat out targeted Caitlin Clark. The Phoenix Mercury targeted Caitlin Clark throughout this game, which appears to have led to some major injuries. This is nasty work.
It's a cunning tactic to damage Clark's reputation without really damaging it. In addition, there has already been animosity between the two of them. Alyssa Thomas made the decision to give Caitlin Clark what can only be described as the hardest screen ever, brewing as a result of a previous event that led to issues for both of them. No, this isn't your normal basketball screen. My audience members genuinely gasped, thinking she had broken an ankle or something. What did the referees do? They dismissed Thomas's harsh foul as insignificant. Clark, who is known for flying around the court like lightning, was completely unprepared and collapsed like a ton of bricks. There was no review and no major infraction was taken into account.
The WNBA, because it's a woke league and because it's leaned into people directing their hatred of Caitlin Clark at Caitlin Clark fans.
A number of WNBA experts, including Dan Torre Music Miller, were open about how badly the whole situation was handled. She firmly stated that Thomas should have been fired for a careless performance. But did Clark make a big deal out of it? Not a possibility. She immediately got back up, flashed her trademark smile at the crowd, and even winked as if to convince them that she was fine and wouldn't let this get to her. Caitlin's well-known dance was a powerful moment that deepened her supporters' affection for her. While everyone else was angry at the poor officiating, she remained composed and unconcerned.
And it comes as a byproduct of, Caitlin, I love you to death. But girl, if you don't work on that defense, you ain't winning no championship.
However, Alyssa's circumstances started to get out of hand at that point. Supporters of Clark were furious since Schrei also shared a statement, and they made sure she felt the fire on social media.
She had to go to the NBA because of players calling all kinds of nasty racial names to Caitlin Clark, white bitch being the most of. I mean, that's the players. Now they sit up there, the one idiot.
She began to position herself as the victim, saying that the criticism had nothing to do with her almost eliminating a rookie sensation and was solely based on race, rather than taking accountability for a decision that would have seriously hurt one of the top players in the league. The fact that she was acting dishonestly and that race had nothing to do with it infuriated the fans.
Caitlin Clark came in as the most impactful player that the WNBA was seeing as a rookie based off of what we saw in college, from both off and on the court, whether it was attendance, viewership, to her on the court with the scoring and assists. That's how she was when she was drafted. She exits her rookie season as exactly.
However, Alyssa didn't want to offend herself. She escalated her accusations and finger-pointing in an attempt to divert attention from the original cause of her criticism, music. For a brief while, it appeared as though she would succeed in doing so, adding Caitlin Clark's name to controversy and creating the idea that the bigoted fans of Clark were organizing a coordinated attack. But it was all a smokescreen. Let's be truthful. Because the root of this whole mess was Alyssa's unwillingness to take responsibility for a careless play and awful performance. She therefore made the decision to use controversy as a shield against criticism,